Okay guys, welcome to the Gamers Assembly 2021 Grand Final. We have 4 players who have survived the qualifications, and there was only 1 player from each qualification phase that has qualified to the Grand Final, and they were betted out for a prize pool of 3,000 euro. 3,000 euro is on the line, and this is definitely a lot of money. We have Feet, aka CarlJr, who has qualified in a very messy fashion in the second qualifier, where he was beating Ratchet, and then also Razor, who has made it into every final. So really my condolences to Razor, who didn't make it into the final. He has played outstandingly well, but it was only by a hair that he didn't make it, and this times 4, so that is unfortunate for him. But we have Feet, definitely one of the underdogs here, together with Ratchet, who has qualified in that second to last qualifier. The German player, also playing under the name of Jesse Rhodes, but he's also very fast. He can really do it. He can make some damage here, but we're gonna see how this will develop for him. And then also the clear favorites, CarlJr and Pack, have qualified in qualifier number 1 and 4, and yeah, they are ready here. They're the clear favorites here to take home the either 1,600 euro for first position or the 800 euro for second position. So that will be an insane race here. Also, third and fourth go home with 400 and 200 euro respectively. But definitely it's already worth being in that final. But of course, you want to get a shot here into that as we are finished with the warm-up. It's Obscuritus, the first map. The WR, as I've stated out beforehand, is from CarlJr. It's the 104.30. And we are playing in cup mode. So cup mode means that you collect points until a certain threshold that we're gonna see in a minute. I think it is 120 points if I recall it correctly. It could also be 140 points. But yeah, it is 120 points, and you can collect those points by just finishing in either first, second, or third, or yeah, also fourth position. And the better your position is, the more points you get. And those points will add up. We have 5 rounds on each track and 1 warm-up beforehand, as you've seen it already. And CarlJr already making that first mistake, so he is out on that round. But we have a very close round here between Feet, Ratchet, and Pack, who are battling it out for the first 10-pointer here. It is Pack getting a good apex here, but also Feet is doing it quite nicely. Pack has the upper hand, Feet with the inside line, so Pack will have, as a result, more speed than him. But it's still very equal between them, between CarlJr and Pack, but also it is Ratchet there in the mix. So let's go with Ratchet here into his POV, only 0.1 behind, and he can well make it happen. The gear at the ending is very important to hold, but also the speed that you accumulate here. It is still Pack versus Feet here, and it's also Ratchet pressing B for boost, so he can maybe make something happen in that first round. Who's getting the first 10-pointer? It is a very close fight. It's so even between the players. Ratchet with a little bit more speed, 12,000 between everyone here. Who's gonna have the better ending? It's Ratchet not doing it good. It is Pack or Feet. It is Pack taking it with 8,000 of a lead here, 104.73 guys, and bear in mind this is 0.4 behind WR, but what a round here to start it all off with. Pack is winning the first round out of Feet, and then Ratchet with a sub 105 on P3. Man, those times are already mental. Wow, great round, really great round here to start it all off with. And let's go ahead here into the second round. As I've mentioned beforehand, we have 5 rounds on each track. Feet with that first mistake. He had to set off the thumb from the acceleration and had to release a little bit, so he finds himself on P4, but still a great fight here again for the top 3. So 1 player falling down behind here, but let's take a look here onto CarlJr. Let's take a look onto him. He has only claimed 3 points in that prior round, and now it is him who can make some damage. Good speed for CarlJr here. The Canadian playing for Team Solary is going up into the fight here. Ratchet has a little bit more speed here. Look at that. Ratchet is leading, and then we have CarlJr and Pack who are chasing him down. Both of the TMGL players in this final can make some damage here, but also it is Feet with a great comeback. He only 0.1 behind, but he won't make it the same here unless everyone is fading the ending, which can happen though. But who's getting first? Who's getting second? It is Feet getting second position, but a great round again, but not the fastest times, I have to say. Only a 104.92, but definitely a great finish, I have to say that. But Feet is sniping that second position away there. Not the fastest times, as I've mentioned. It's 0.7 behind WR. We have seen 0.5s, 0.4s in the match, but of course the pressure is still here as we are starting it right now here. I think that Pack didn't really have too much of warm-up, and Ratchet also played Trackmania Formula League beforehand. So yeah, it is definitely weird circumstances that there will be just the grand final that will be played. No like consolidation final or winner bracket final beforehand where you were just in the zone. But that's how things are. So let's go into the third round here on Obscuritus by Anisado. Let's see. This round looks a bit faster by my first impression. Feet going so close there to the wall. Had a bit worse exit here, but is still in the race. But it's still CarlJr who is leading. Ratchet is on P3. Pack has made that first mistake here and is so far behind, so he won't have a saying here. And also Ratchet with that mistake. So it's CarlJr versus Feet. CarlJr with way more speed here going into that short freewheel part. But it is Feet holding the gear and also might have more speed. Can he snipe it away? And Feet is doing it again. He is doing it again, sniping the points from CarlJr away. And this is definitely not a good start from CarlJr here. Only with 13 points in 3 rounds, and with that it is Feet and Pack almost tied up here, 23 and 22 points, but a great ending there. Feet was able to hold the gear there in the ending by my impression, and also had a way wider line, so he had more speed at the ending and was just sniping away yet another 10 points or yet points from CarlJr away. So Feet definitely doing a great job here and is a contender, but I think he's also the person who has practiced the most. But now look at Pack, look at the ludicrous start here from Pack TM here, from the M&M player, who is the vice champion of the Trackmania Grand League. Season 3, he's doing it very, very good here. He's on a good time, but also Feet is not slowing down. You Pack with the better apex though, but Feet is attacking. Look at the speed from Feet. My god, this guy is pushing it here. This guy is absolutely pushing it, and he's ready, but Pack does it better here. And also CarlJr coming closer, so Feet is temporarily on that third position, but this will be all decided in the ending. Feet had some very, very great ending sections here by the looks of it, and also good amount of speed here again, but it's still 0.05 between him and Pack, and not holding the gear this time. Pack is getting it very, very nicely here, and also CarlJr is sniping it away. Pack with a 104.63, CarlJr in second, and then we have Feet taking the safe finish here on P3. So great decision there by having a wonky transition in the ending. So yeah, Pack is taking it here and extending his lead to 33 points. So last round on this map. Pack with a pretty good performance thus far. 33 points for him. After having a round with a mistake, he I think won every round after that. So Pack up to 33 points. Great performance here from the UK driver. And currently he's on a roll again. CarlJr with a very risky line there. I thought that he will clip somewhere, but that wasn't the case. It's just CarlJr doing CarlJr things. He is arguably, maybe even the best tech player out there, but currently it is Pack who wants to like claim victory again. I mean, if we do a little bit of a flashback, it was Pack who won 2 of the main events in 2020, just before the new game was coming out, and currently he's showing it again as CarlJr makes another mistake. So CarlJr is dead here. Feet and Ratchet are chasing Pack here for that ending. Who's getting it the best? Ratchet is going a little bit more outside. I think he will have more speed in advance. Is Feet gonna make it? It is Ratchet sniping it away. Oh my god, those endings, they are so scary here on this map. Ratchet is getting first, then Feet on second, and Pack falls down to P3 actually with that. Imagine getting third with a 104.82. My god, those guys are so ready. I have to say that. So Ratchet is taking that 10-pointer. What a sick final, and that was just the first map, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, that was just the first map. Oh my god, CarlJr is actually last. Oh man. CarlJr is in last position here. Look at that. He's at 22 points in 5 rounds. So this is an average of 4.4 points, if my math was correct. I think it was. So that was definitely, not the best first map here for CarlJr. I mean, he also did 2 mistakes and has been sniped away from Feet there a lot of times for that first position there that he could have claimed to his name there, but that wasn't the case. But let's go ahead here to Achilles by Keisler. Never mind, maybe the last time, or it will be the last time that we are going to see that map. The fastest time here from a player is from Pack. It was set 1 hour ago, and it's a 57.3 16 from Pack set 1 hour ago. So Pack is also ready here on this track. Then Feed and CarlJr are behind that with a 57.18 and a 0.18 as well. The WR is still a 0.15 from Panda, who didn't qualify to this grand final, but has made it to at least one qualifier grand final. And then there is also Ratchet, who has a 57.24, so only 0.1 away here from the top pack from Pack, Feed, and CarlJr, who are on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th WR. But let's go ahead here into the first round on Achilles. Of course, consistency matters more than your fastest set time, because if you make a mistake, you are out here and probably only get yourself a 3-pointer. So let's see who's gonna make it the best here. Pack is going for a pretty outside line here to generate more speed, but it seems that the lines from Feed and CarlJr were a little bit better. But it's still a very close fight here. Only 0.07 of a second between them. Feed gets it really nicely here. Goes into the lead here. But again, it's Pack going for that risk, or for that outside line. It has more speed. So Pack is going for that attack. Where is CarlJr? It's a very close round here between all the players. No one is getting the nose slide here. The ending will probably decide it. Pack is going so risky there. I thought that he will get more airtime, but that wasn't the case. Feed and CarlJr are currently on 1st and 2nd, but Ratchet and Pack can still make something happen here. But who's gonna get it? Who's gonna risk it more? Pack is risking it so much, but he's not gonna make it. It's Feed winning it here with a 57.42. Great time. CarlJr on 2nd, and then Ratchet on P3. And Pack, after that mistake, had to go for that safe finish and only gets himself 3 points. So 0.4 is definitely a great time. That's 0.25 away from WR. So nice time here from Feed, and he goes into the lead with that. He's up into the lead here, 42 points. And yeah, that's a great display of skill here from Feed, who no one really had on the radar, and is also the underdog. I mean, we only had 1 vote for him before we have started the grand final here in my chat. We had a poll, and it was Feed having only 1 vote, but currently he's leading and he's not slowing down. I think he's on a sick time. He's 0.1 ahead of Ratchet and Pack, and it is CarlJr again who has made that mistake, but Ratchet and Pack are not slowing down. They're coming closer here. They're coming dangerously closer here, having more speed, but Feed is still staying ahead here. He's denying the others the points. Ratchet with more speed. Can he snipe it away? Pack again with a mistake. Ratchet is finishing more to the left, but it's not enough here. Feed is taking it more conservatively there in the ending, and still stays on 1st. And Feed and Ratchet again getting 1st and 2nd, and CarlJr and Pack only with 4 and 3 points. So this is definitely not good for them. But look at that, Feed is 9 points ahead here. So Feed actually with a good amount of points here in the last couple of rounds. Okay, so next round is coming up here. Round number 3 out of 5, so 8th round in total. And yeah, now Pack and also CarlJr need to make something happen. It's CarlJr currently on last position. He has 32 points, so he didn't really arrive on the final just yet here. By the looks of it, also not the best drift here for him by losing 0.05 of a second, but maybe he can make something in the end. He's only 0.2 behind, but now it is Pack leading. Pack out of Ratchet, and Pack really needs that 10-pointer. CarlJr again with a mistake, and he is dead again. CarlJr really stumbling here. The champion of the GMGL Season 3 is doing it really nicely. Ratchet has more speed, but it's not enough here, and a 57.38 will seal the deal for Pack, and claiming the first 10-pointer here for him on this map after Feed has won 2 rounds in a row. So Pack up to 53 points and coming dangerously closer towards Feed, who has only gotten himself 4 points. So CarlJr, 35 points, and this is definitely not good for CarlJr here, for the Canadian. This is not good for him, but maybe there will be a map that suits him better. Maybe those are his worst maps. I have no idea, but of course the others are not slow here. But seeing CarlJr currently in last is definitely not what I was expecting here. I thought that Pack and CarlJr will just, yeah, not dominate it, but win most of the rounds, or get 1st and 2nd in most of the rounds. But now it is CarlJr who's actually on P4 with only 35 points in 8 rounds. So this is definitely not something that I have expected. But let's go ahead here into the next round and see who's gonna claim victory. Currently it is Feed versus Pack here in that last part. But also CarlJr goes for the attack, goes for so much more speed, but it's not working out. Feed has it good, but Pack has a little bit more speed. Feed with a mistake, and Pack wins the second round in a row with a .39. So this time the ending does not work out. This ending is really hard to do, but Pack is winning it here and goes again into the lead because Feed only with 4 points here. So you have the lead, but if Pack and CarlJr are pressurizing you, there it's really hard to defend that, because you kind of couldn't save there. And Feed with a mistake, still getting 4 points though, because Ratchet has also made that mistake. But with that, Pack is able to overtake him. So 17 points between second and third, and bear in mind the prize pool for first is 1,600 euro, and then it goes down, and we're gonna have it every time. So second is 800, third is 400, and fourth is 200 euros. So still something if you get last position here in this grand final, but of course you really want to get that first or second position, obviously. But now CarlJr is actually leading the round here. CarlJr is leading with a comfortable lead here of 0.1 of a second, but it is Pack and Ratchet just generating more speed over that part, and CarlJr is not safe yet. It's 0.03 of a second, and Ratchet has it good, but CarlJr with way more speed. So CarlJr wins finally a round here with a 0.42, and this is well needed for him. Ratchet also getting 6 points, then Pack and Feed behind that. But definitely a great round here, but CarlJr was really in need of that, I have to say that. He was really in need of that and goes up to 51 points. But Ratchet only with 49 points. I think he has only won one round thus far. So yeah, I mean, Pack and Feed still only tearing 4 points apart. And CarlJr with a good performance can of course make it. He's not like falling, or was not falling behind tremendously here. He's at 51 points, so he can still make something happen. But we're gonna find out here on Humble Forest, which is the third map. It's the third map, and I think CarlJr had a really good warm-up here. But of course, having a good warm-up doesn't mean that you can transfer it to the live round. But CarlJr is such an experienced driver that he can probably do it more likely than maybe Ratchet and Feed, who are the underdogs in this grand final. The WR is a 1 minute .61 from Dutchy, who has played, I think, only the first qualifier, if I recall it correctly. I think he couldn't play qualifier 2 to 4 due to personal reasons. And then Novice is on the P2 with a .64. We have Feed with a .65 behind that, then Ratchet also with a .65. Pack has a .67, and then CarlJr has a .70. So times are pretty close together. Times are definitely pretty close together. But this ending will of course decide a lot here. It will decide a lot. And 1 minute .97 is definitely a time that is not slow. It's 0.4 behind WR. And if you can drive that Regu, you might get first and second in every round. That's what I say right now, but I could be wrong. So let's go ahead here and see what will happen in this round. And I'm gonna go with the Ratchet here on the first round on Humble Forest. It is already one player who has fallen behind. It is Feed, who made a small mistake. So he finds himself, .34 behind here after making a, not that good of a start. So Feed won't have a saying here and makes an additional mistake, so he is definitely out here. So let's go to Ratchet again, to the German player, playing for Team Shift, if I recall it correctly. That's the Knight skin. But he also makes a mistake, so it's CarlJr left alone here, and also Pack is not too far. It's not in the race here. He's 0.2 behind CarlJr here, but he's coming closer. Pack with way more speed here compared towards CarlJr. But it's still a huge gap between them, 0.15 of a second. So CarlJr looks to win his second round in a row here, and this would be really good here for the Canadian. He has, he is awake, and he will get himself that second 10-pointer in a row with a 1:01.12, and also Pack with a great comeback here. I mean, he was catching up 0.25 of a second, so Pack is ready on this track. And of course with that, he's extending his lead, but on the other hand, it is CarlJr coming dangerously closer towards them. So So Pack is really fast on this map, and of course he has made that mistake, or like a small blunder at the start, where maybe he has to readjust his line, and he lost 0.03 or 0.3 as a result. So yeah, let's take a look how Pack is doing it in this round. Maybe he can challenge CarlJr, who has the fastest start again, and Pack drops down to P4 here. So Pack is, yeah, not really feeling the start too much at the moment, but his ending was very, very fast, especially this part that is coming up. Now Ratchet making that first mistake here, and now we are left with Feet, CarlJr, and Pack here. CarlJr still leading with a 0.07 of a lead over Pack, but maybe Pack can snipe it away here. This ending is, of course, really hard to do, but also Pack here with way more speed compared towards CarlJr, so we will catch up. It's only 1 car length between them. Pack goes into the lead. CarlJr with a wider approach here, but it will be Pack winning this round, or is he? It is 4,000 of a second between them, and CarlJr stays ahead again, and this is very important for CarlJr. Oh my! I thought that Pack had it here, but the line from CarlJr was better. But again, 4,000 of a second, and CarlJr with that goes into that second position here and is 1 point ahead of Feet. My god, that was again a very close round here. Very, very close. So, let's take a look here again onto the third round. CarlJr not slowing down. Actually, he is in this round, but he can still do something. He's only 0.15 away, but he has won the last 3 rounds. So this is definitely a great performance from the Solary player. And now he is attacking again. He's coming closer and overtakes the first person. It is Pack who is here overtaking, and it's currently Ratchet leading. But look at the close round. Ratchet with way more speed compared to the others, but still nothing has been decided here yet. Nothing has been decided here, as we are approaching the ending here, and the ending is of course really hard to do, and CarlJr can well make something happen here. As we can see, he's only 500s away here from Ratchet. Let's take a look. CarlJr with a mistake, and he's dead here. So let's follow Pack and Ratchet here for the ending. Who's gonna take it? Ratchet wins it here. What a round in 1 minute, 0.88. What a round. Ratchet takes it again. 7 thousandths of a gap. So again, the thousands have decided it here in 0.88 and a 0.89. And then we have a 0.99 from Feet, but he only gets himself 3rd position. Man, what a race. What a race. But Ratchet was in dire need of this 10-pointer here. He was really in need of that. And let's see, maybe he can make it again, but he's already 0.12 behind here on that second last round at Humble Forest. A map from Clem. And Pack is making that first mistake. Pack is dead. He's 0.5 or maybe even more. Yeah, 1 second behind. He probably got himself the penalty there. So if you touch the wall, you will get the penalty. It's inevitable. And currently, CarlJr is leading. 700th of a second. Oh, but again, Ratchet with a good amount of speed here, coming closer, overtaking Feet for that second position now. And he is really attacking here. CarlJr also in need of those points. Pack, the leader of the race, is out on this round. And also this Feet, who has made a mistake here. But still, it's CarlJr having a lead of 0.16. So he can just cruise it into the ending. And can take a little bit of a more conservative line. And CarlJr takes it, but with an 8x or something. Yeah, a 0.82 by CarlJr. That is a sick time again. Ratchet on P2. Pack on 3rd, sniping away that 3-pointer or that 4-pointer from Feet. So still good for him. But now CarlJr is, yeah, he is unstoppable by the looks of it. He's up to 84 points. 84 points for CarlJr. And then Pack is still leading, but only with a 5 points gap. So great comeback here from CarlJr on this map. And now we have one more round here. One more round on Humble Forest. And then we're going to go to, I think, Spotlight. Yeah, Spotlight will be the next map after that. And there we could already see our first finalist. So no mistake here in that last round on Humble Forest. And it is very close between them. Only 0.06, 07 of a second. Make it 0.1 now. But of course, CarlJr didn't really have the best amount of speed here in this section. So it's very close here. 400s going to the last bits of the track. Feet is leading ahead of Pack here. But Pack with a better line here by the looks of it. He could just travel less distance here and steer in a little bit earlier, and that's why Feet is dropping a little bit behind, but still he can make something happen. CarlJr versus Pack here in this ending. Who is making it the best? Pack with a tiny tad more speed, but it's CarlJr who might stay ahead. Pack with a more left finish, but it's CarlJr getting it here. CarlJr winning 4 out of 5 rounds on this track, and CarlJr with that only 1 point short to Pack, who is going up to 95 points. 94 for CarlJr. But wow, what a map for the Canadian. I have to say that Feed is falling tremendously behind. That is definitely a great grand final. A back and forth between all the players. So Spotlight could be the last map for either Pack or CarlJr. In theory, also Feed could make it if he wins 5 rounds in a row. But I find that very unlikely because we have seen a trend here that everyone can beat everyone here. And in this format, everyone has won a round, and we had so many close rounds on this particular map, especially in this ending. And yeah, this map is not easy to do. It looks easy as CarlJr goes into the hole there. Bye-bye, but of course it's the warm-up. But also, speaking of CarlJr, he has the WR on the map that has been built by Buzzy. It's a 1 minute point 47, and then a 49 by Panda. And Ratchet has 4th WR with a point 54. Then Feed has a point 55. And I actually cannot see Pack in the top 10. He has a point 69 here on this track. So it might not be his fastest map, but maybe he is consistent on this one. And this is, of course, what really matters on this track. So one warm-up before we are starting the action again. Let's see what time Feed is actually doing here in the warm-up. A 1 minute point 83. That is pretty fast, I have to say that. That is a very fast time. It's only 0.36 away from WR. So if he can replicate that, that is definitely a winning time. Okay, into the first round we go, into round number 16. So it's map number 4. So let's take a look here. Who's gonna win that first round? Feed is 13 points behind CarlJr and 14 points behind Pack. So he was leading the race, but now he is stumbling a little bit. But still a great performance here from Feed, who's one of the newcomers, let's say like that, in the tech scene and also in the competitive scene. He's really fast, but of course, in a final like that, pressure is rising, and he has made that first mistake. So let's see who's winning that first round here. Ratchet is leading here with a 0.1 of a gap here, but Pack and CarlJr are of course not slowing down. They're still chasing Ratchet here, but he is extending his lead. CarlJr with that inside line will not have as much speed as Ratchet as a result, and Ratchet will take that round. Very good lines here from the German player. And let's see what time that is. Probably a 0.7 or something like that. A 0.79, barely making that finish jump though, but a well-needed 10-pointer for him. CarlJr with that he was staying ahead over Pack, now goes into the lead here and goes up to 100 points. So CarlJr, for the first time, is leading the race. Ratchet up to 85 points. Feed 84 points, and this is a very, very close final because, as I said before, and everyone can beat every player here, and this is exactly what we have seen in that prior round. And yeah, CarlJr with a great comeback here up into that first position. But Feed, what is he doing? Feed with a very, very costly mistake. He won't play a role in this one, and that's the second mistake here on this track for Feed. And yeah, this leaves us with Pack and Ratchet here on that second round. Ratchet going so close there to the wall, but generating a lot of speed. But Pack with a better apex and the better angle there, as well as CarlJr. And now we have the fight here between CarlJr and Pack. Also, Ratchet is not saying, nah, I'm not out of that. He is still in the race, so let's go with his point of view here. And look at that, he is really pushing it. He is pushing it here. Nice apex here from Ratchet. Has more speed than CarlJr. The ending will decide it here. Ratchet, very great line. CarlJr with a little bit more speed. Who's gonna take it? Pack also the mix. It is Ratchet with a mistake, but who's getting first? It's CarlJr getting first. One and back and forth in the ending. That was really close between the players there, and one tiny mistake there from Ratchet was enough to only get himself 4 points instead of 10. So Ratchet only with 4 points here, and CarlJr up to 110 points. So a victory means that he is in finalist mode and he can win it here. He can win it all. What a comeback here from CarlJr. He's really dominating the second half of the match. And currently he is at 110 points. So this is definitely a great display of skill here from the Solar Reap driver. But I'm a bit worried about Feed here because he has dropped to P number 4. And this is not good for him. This is not good for Feed. Since he is, yeah, he was leading the race And now he's leading this round, but not getting the best line here, and drops all of a sudden down to P4 again. Just with one small mistake, it is Feed down to P4, but he's not out yet. Ratchet and Feed will not say, okay, I don't want to lose against a Pack and CarlJr playing both outstandingly well, and currently they're on first and second. So Ratchet and Feed can get themselves some valuable points. Pack with a very aggressive line there. Ratchet again with a better apex, but still the speed here decides in the ending. Ratchet is leading, Pack with a mistake. So it is Feed and Ratchet winning it here. Ratchet with a 1. Oh my god, no way, Feed. No. Oh, you hate to see that. You hate to see that, guys. He was such in need of that. Oh no. Feed throwing away 3 points there. He could have gone up to 90 points, which of course would have been very good for him. But Feed, yeah, not getting any sort of points. So CarlJr needs to get third or upwards here in this round in order to activate the finalist mode. But it is Feed again making yet another mistake. So really, he gets the nose slide there, and with that falling tremendously behind. Also Ratchet here with a mistake, and in advance, or in it will be Feed overtaking him here by the looks of it, by having just a little bit more speed. But again, it is Pack versus CarlJr here. Pack cannot deny that CarlJr will claim finalist mode on the next round, but he can get himself, yeah, some sort of points to his name, but of course not reach finalist quite yet, because he would be up to 119 points. So CarlJr has one finalist attempt on his own. But of course the question is, can CarlJr deny some points towards Pack here? Oh, he has more speed, and CarlJr will actually make it, or will he? 1,000 between them, and CarlJr is not denying points to Pack. That was actually, yeah, sort of important. But oh my god, what a close round again. 1,000 of a second. But the face lap for Pack here, that is not good for him. But good luck to CarlJr. I'm not gonna write that here. But CarlJr is finalist here. And yeah, good luck to him. He can close it out here. CarlJr can win it here. The prize pool for first is 1,600 euro. Will CarlJr win Gamers Assembly 2021? A very stacked tech tournament in his first attempt. Currently, he doesn't have the best start, and Feed and Pack are leading. Feed with a very good round here on this last round on Spotlight. Then we're gonna go to the next map. But it is looking that CarlJr won't take it here. He's 0.15 behind. He needs a very good ending here in order to make it. But look at this speed here from CarlJr. But he's still currently finding himself on that 4th position. Goes for the inside line. Doesn't really have a lot of speed, but still stays ahead of Feed, who went for that more outside approach. So let's take a look here. Is CarlJr sniping it in the ending or not? His ending on that prior round was very, very good. But Pack and Ratchet are still in a close proximity here. Pack is leading, and the Stangley is leading with way more speed. But CarlJr again with way more speed. CarlJr, is he taking it? No, Pack is denying 4,000 of a second. Oh my god. Holy moly. Oh. That was so important for Pack to stay ahead. And now Pack and CarlJr are both in finalist mode. What? So CarlJr had way more speed, but his ending jump wasn't quite good here. Or wasn't that good compared to Pack's jump. And yeah, we have a double final situation, and we're gonna go to maybe the last map for Pack or CarlJr. It is Royal Cheese. Royal Cheese is the decider here. And the WR is a .96, a 59.96 by Nord. And we also have a 96 from CarlJr and a .98 from Feed. So they are both pretty good here, but Feed is really stumbling here. Feed is falling behind to P4 here. So this is not good here for the French driver. This is not good for him. I hope that he can sort himself and maybe win 1 or 2 rounds here when we are ending the warm-up. Pack has the 7th world record on this track with a 1:04. Then there's Ratchet having P10 with a 1:09. But guys, this part that is coming up here, this small like hairpin where you want to have to jump very precisely through, is really hard to do. You really have to generate a lot of speed and keep the speed, because this track has a lot of long and yeah, like just this track is having not a lot of drifts, but drifts that you have to hold. And of course, this ending here is not that easy. You have to really squeeze your car into the finish as soon as possible. And the 1:31 is definitely a great time. But good luck to Pack and to CarlJr, who are both in finalists. So Ratchet and Feet have to deny them. So again, the battle here between them. But the question is, who is getting first position? And with that, the cash prize of 1,600 euro. Good luck to Pack and CarlJr. It is Pack's first finalist attempt after having 119 points in that prior round and denying CarlJr here by just a couple of thousands. Now Pack's momentum could be on his side, or the momentum could be on his side, and Pack can take it here as Pack and CarlJr have the best start. Ratchet, however, is close by. Feet has again made a mistake. So this is unfortunate for him. So Ratchet has to deny them, but currently it's Ratchet leading here. Ratchet leading the round. He is leading the round here, but it's so close between them. CarlJr with the direct line here might go into the lead. No, not by the looks of it. So Ratchet's still leading here. Of course, the pressure is rising here with every turn that Ratchet is taking. CarlJr with a very, very good line here. The repetitive side is really important to nail, but Ratchet is still leading. He could deny Pack and CarlJr the victory here. He could do it, but of course, the ending is still remaining. CarlJr and Pack have nothing to lose. Who's gonna risk the ending more? Is Ratchet making it? No, he's not, and Pack wins it! Pack wins it here with the best finish. What is happening? What an ending. I cannot comprehend what happened there. I thought Ratchet had it, but he was jumping a little bit too far to the right. And Pack wins their cash prize here of 1,600 euro. Thomas Cole wins it here in his first finals attempt, denying CarlJr the victory. This finish is incredible. This finish is incredible, I have to say that. And it can decide a tournament, and it has done it. So Pack wins it here, and let's take a look who's getting second position. CarlJr still in finalists. You're not losing your finalist attempt when you not make it. And of course also Ratchet and Feet can still fight it out for that second position. 800 euros on the line for P2. And let's take a look here. Will CarlJr use his third finalist attempt here? Or will he get denied by either Ratchet or Feet? Feet not making a mistake here. But of course also Feet is only up to 98 points. So this is not good here for him, for the French driver. Oh, not the best line here by my first impression, but actually he was able to survive. So CarlJr still leading, and CarlJr might take it home here, but Feet with a little bit more speed and a better angle here. Ratchet going a little bit too far outside. They might have more speed. Who's gonna make it? Is CarlJr getting it or not? And yes, CarlJr is not getting it. Wait, what? How did Feet snipe that away? I thought that CarlJr was ahead, and Feet actually denies CarlJr the victory. Wait, I thought he had it. Ah, wait, what? Again, CarlJr gets denied at the ending. This ending, man. This ending. So, let's go into the next round. Let's go into the next one. I thought he had it. I thought he had it, but CarlJr gets denied again. So, let's go into this camera here. Into the follow all camera. As you see, Ratchet, CarlJr, and Feet are very, very close together here. Only 700ths of a second between them. CarlJr currently is on that last position. But this can change in just one turn. But it doesn't, because CarlJr didn't really get too much speed out of that. So it is not the best line here for the Canadian driver. Ratchet is leading, and of course with a 10-pointer here, Ratchet can make it into the second place here if he wins the round after that. But he can firstly make it into finalist mode. Feet again with a mistake, so Ratchet has to survive the ending. CarlJr is behind him, 0.1 of a second. Ratchet has to survive it, and he has already binned it away here in one round. But now he has the upper hand. He has way more speed. CarlJr has nothing to lose. Ratchet is gonna make it, and he's gonna deny CarlJr again. And we have a double final situation between CarlJr and Ratchet. Oh my god. Jeez. Ratchet can maybe get himself 800 euro. Whew. So let's take a look here onto Feet. He has to win. He has to win, and then we can force a triple final situation. But Feet not with the best start here. 500s behind, and also not the best apex here by the looks of it. Oh, he had to release though, so it's Ratchet versus CarlJr here for that second position. Ratchet going so close there, has almost clipped it. I think he had to release there, but it is actually Ratchet with a mistake, so he is dead here. So Feet has to deny CarlJr in order to activate finalist mode himself. Let's take a look here. Feet with a little bit more speed by the first impression here. But it's still CarlJr who is leading. But the ending, of course, is missing for him to claim that second position. Is he gonna make it or not? It's Feet with a very aggressive line, and Feet is dead. CarlJr just has to survive the ending. He can also go safe here, but CarlJr is risking it, and CarlJr survives it with a 1 minute point 28. CarlJr takes second position, and then we have Feet, who's not getting finals just yet. But yeah, deserved, if you ask me, that second position. But he was really struggling here throughout the last couple of rounds. But CarlJr takes it here, has the strongest nerfs, and now we still playing it out for P3. So who's getting that third position? Is it Ratchet, who's still in finals, or will Feet force round number 26, the decider? And we're gonna go to the first map again. Let's take a look here. Ratchet and Feet both with a similar start. So still also the third place goes home with 400 euro. That is still a good cash price here, I have to say that. And currently it's very, very equal between them. Only 300ths of a second between Ratchet and Feet, between the French and the German driver here. But yeah, Feet is actually doing good here. He was stumbling a lot. I mean, he was leading the race, and now he can maybe force round number 26, the decider. But of course, there's still the ending that is remaining for Feet. Ratchet, however, only 0.03 away. Is he gonna make it? He has a little bit more speed. It really matters. Ratchet has nothing to lose here. Feet is failing it, but he is still surviving with a 0.29. He was touching here to the right, actually. How was he surviving it? He has touched it there, but he has survived it. I don't know how he did that, actually. Also, Massa staying it out there. I have no idea how he actually crossed the finish line, but Feet and Ratchet are both now in finalist. So Obscuritus is the decider. They are skipping warm-up. So good luck for Feet and Ratchet. And let's take a look who's gonna take it. They're skipping warm-up. Good luck to the players. And let's see who is taking it. Ratchet versus Feet. And we have no one making a mistake at the start, surprisingly. Yeah. But this is the last round here, the last round of the Gamers Assembly 2021. Who is going home with 400 euro and who has to settle down with 200 euro. It is Ratchet making a mistake, and he gets the penalty and not gonna go for a smooth transition here. So it is Feet who just has to survive it here. He can take it very conservatively here, but it is Ratchet with a great comeback here. Also a great race, but he wasn't really quite having the pace. And yeah, with that, he couldn't close it out. He had the chance of getting second, but still a nice fourth position here. And playing under this pressure is definitely also very great for him. So Feet is getting third here. He's getting the bronze medal. And then we have Ratchet on P4 also with another mistake here. So Feet just has to survive the ending. Hopefully he's going to go for the safe finish. Or is he ending it with a bang? No, he's ending with a 105.03. GG's to him, so not the fastest time, but still it's enough here to beat Ratchet, who unfortunately only gets himself fourth position, but still a nice performance.